Our next speaker also works for Senator Ted Cruz, but in a completely different area. We really appreciate his being here tonight. Please welcome Josh Siegal, East Texas Regional Director for the campaign of Senator Ted Cruz. Josh, don't let me forget, because I will forget, but I have a check for Senator Cruz's campaign before you leave, please.
Thank you. Thank you guys for having me. I guess Jason gave you his whole background on how he kind of got in on the ground floor. I suppose I got in at the penthouse because I haven't been here long, as you can tell by the accent. I am from, born and raised in East Texas. Matter of fact, it's so far east of Texas, they went ahead and named it Virginia. So it's been a bit of a whirlwind. That is right. It's been crazy, to say the least. I didn't think I wanted to do politics. I know that's what everybody in politics says when they get in politics, but I honestly God mean that. I thought I was going to end up in healthcare or business. It's what I majored in. But I guess the Lord just called me to do this. I graduated college in December, semester early, felt I was ready to get going and get into the real world, make some money, pay off those student loans and all. And I had no job. And so I started applying to stuff, and I saw an internship out in DC. I'm from the Northern Virginia area, about a 2-hour train ride into DC, but I was like, okay, I'll do this. Applied for it, got it by the grace of God. Went out there every day, 5 a.m. waking up, getting home at 9 a.m. or 9 p.m. And so it was a real grind. And I was like, when I first got in, I thought, it's going to be a bunch of bureaucracy. It's going to be a bunch of stuff where I'm just sitting there and nothing gets done and all this stuff. And it was the complete opposite. I worked for Congressman Bob Latta. He's a great man. He gets work done for his constituents up there in the Bowling Green area of Ohio. And he means the best for the folks he serves. And that really left an impression on me and kind of made me want to pursue a career here in the government realm. And so I was sitting in my little office. I called it my office, but it was really a closet because they had no other room. So I was sitting in my little closet, and I was looking for jobs online because they didn't give me too much work. And I knew I wanted more responsibility. I knew I needed to be full-time. It's my 4th internship. I'm ready to get a career started. And I saw a job out in Texas. And I was like, didn't say who it was for. I was like, Texas sounds pretty cool. I knew there was a bunch of elections going on. They're like, yeah, it's an election. Who cares? I don't care who it's for or what it is. And so they called me about 10 minutes after I applied. They're like, hey, you want to work for Ted Cruz? And I was like, yeah, I do. And so they set up an interview, took a personality test, and I moved to Texas about 10 days later. And so it was just a whirlwind. I've been here now 4.5 months. I had my commencement ceremony on May 20th, moved down here May 21st. So there's that old saying, I guess, I'm not a Texan, but I got here as soon as I could. And so that's literally it. And so I always tell people when I speak out here, like, I just thank the Lord that I got here to East Texas, not Central Texas and Austin, where they do keep it weird, as Jason said. Southeast Texas is crazy down there too, or in Dallas. This really, to me, has been just the most welcoming community. This region's been fantastic. And I can't thank you guys enough for welcoming me with open arms. I'm the only non-Texan field director, and my job's gone so smooth, and it's because of folks like you that are just so open and welcoming to folks like me that aren't from here. I always like to start off this talking about the election and kind of address the white elephant in the room, just the anxieties that everybody feels about this election. You guys have seen the Beto signs. You guys have seen how the leftists rally around this guy, but I don't put my faith in the Democratic donkey or the Republican elephant, but I put it in the Lamb of God. His will be done, but we do have a job to do. We got to be his tools, and we can't sit idle. And so I talk to my dad quite often. He's my North Star. I bounce a lot of stuff off of him. He's in his 60s, so he's got a little more experience than I do in the world. And he told me when I first went into politics, he said, back in the day when he was growing up, he's from New Jersey. God bless that state. He's from New Jersey, bounced around the Northeast, eventually settled down in the Northern Virginia area. And he told me back in the day when he was growing up that it wasn't a big deal. Like, you're a Republican, I'm a Democrat, you're a Democrat, I'm a Republican. Like, it's no big deal. You just think you want the best for yourself, and you just have different means of getting there. And that is not where we are as a country anymore. And he's spot on about that. You've seen what happened to Senator Cruz up in Washington 2 weeks ago. You can't get dinner with your wife without getting harassed. Just 2 days ago, down in our Houston office, they sent a substance resembling ricin to the people that opened the envelopes. One of my best friends is down there doing that stuff. And it does really hit home when you're seeing on the news, you got people texting and calling, what's happening down there? And all my friends back from Virginia, I'm getting calls. And I'm like, man, I don't know. And they got back, it wasn't rising, everything was fine. But the left is trying to intimidate us. They're trying to knock us off our game. They're trying to get in our heads with all this stuff. And it's crazy to see how our opponent has kind of taken the folks that were mad about the 2016 election and kind of rallied them. And my boss always says this, Wade Miller, he's our political director, the left is going to crawl through broken glass to vote for this O'Rourke guy. And I mean, I don't have to go into his policies, I'll touch on a few of them. He wants to open our borders. He wants to defund ICE. He wants to impeach our president. He was the first congressman to come out and say that openly. Say, hey, I don't like this Trump guy, I want to impeach him. He also said on the debate floor that he was going to work well with him, which I think we all know is a lie. Because of these far left stances and because he's really the first guy to take a full-on leftist approach to running for a statewide office in this state, he's garnered a lot of support nationally and in this state. And so I look around and you see on the news, you see LeBron James is tweeting out, he's on Ellen, he's outfunding us. He's going to outfund us by $25 million by the end of this. He's outfunding us 3-1. And so it's kind of, you take a step back and you're like, what is about this guy? He's aesthetically pleasing, he's very well spoken, and he's a lot of things Senator Cruz isn't aesthetically. And we can't, as a field director, as Jason, as anybody else who works for this campaign, we can't change that. But what we can do is get involved. The O'Rourke campaign has spent $10 million out of their $50 million that they've raised. So they have $40 million in the war chest. I can guarantee you that's going to go to paid block walkers. I'm the only staff out in East Texas besides Jason. We're the only two. And I'm working for the campaign. He's working for the Senate office. And so I can guarantee you that I've seen it already. Pop-up offices of folks that the O'Rourke campaign's paying part-time to get out there to block walk for them. And so it's kind of scary to see all those signs, to see all those people energized for them. But I will tell you, I've had my doubts at various points in this campaign with people calling and they demand this, they demand that. It is scary, but I go back to my first point. You know, God's will be done. We need to get out, we need to make a difference. We've had a lot of people come to us from out of state even. I have people phone banking out in California, people up in Illinois calling me, hey, how can we get involved? We're not from here, but we see what the left is trying to do and we see what socialism, that's what he is, and that's what my generation embraces, socialism. We see what he wants to do, and it's destroyed our state's economy. It's made people move to Texas. How great this state is in business, probably why I'm here, but I'm not getting paid much. But the thing is, we can't sit idle as they raise all this money, as they knock all these doors, and as they get in front of folks, because that's how you lose elections. You saw Pete Flores in Senate District 19, I believe it is. His campaign didn't have a ton of yard signs, and more than the other person, that's for sure. His campaign had dedicated volunteers that were getting out there and that knew his platform and that were passionate about what he wanted to do, and they got him elected in a majority Democrat district. And that's what the left is trying to do in this entire state. I will tell you, I come to towns and people, I can see it on their faces. I'm in Hemp Hill, Texas, in Sabine County, where there's only 10,000 people, and that's a neighborhood in Austin. They're thinking, what is the point of me getting out? What's the point of me doing anything? It's just going to get outvoted by the folks in the cities. And I tell them, in being from Virginia, 4 counties dominate that state's politics. I'm from the fastest growing region in the country, the Northern Virginia region, and it's all gone blue. We have my state district representative in Virginia District 19, I guess it's Commonwealth district representative, it's not a state technically. Yeah. She is going to lose. She's a 3 or 4 time incumbent. She's losing by 10 points projected by, because the left has sunk a bunch of money in. They know they can control Virginia. It's no longer a red state or even a swing state. It's solid blue because the left has, the population growth in that region dominates the whole state. And so what I've seen in Texas is folks assuming that we're going to run away with this, and now that's not the case because they've seen this O'Rourke guy. But 20 some odd counties in this state are going to vote blue. The cities are going to vote blue. Harris County is going to go blue. Austin's going to go blue. San Antonio, Dallas, El Paso. But East Texas holds 20% of the vote. These 35 counties holds 25% or 20% of the vote. And so if we can get out there, we can knock on some doors, we can get involved, it won't even be close. If we get the turnout we need here, then we're going to run away with this. And I will tell you, it's not always pretty. You have people slam the doors in your faces. I've had to outrun pit bulls. I've been a third-party witness to a robbery. Like, it's some scenarios are really sticky. But at the end of the day, we've got 30 days basically. We got 1 month to make a difference for the most important election in the country. And if you think those Beto signs are annoying now, I will tell you, the stances he's taken, the way he's running, he's already conceded this election. He's going for a higher office, and I don't have to tell you guys what that is. So if you don't want to see those signs in 2020, and you don't want the real victory, which would be if he loses by 1, 2, 3, 4 points, that's a real victory for their campaign, because perception-wise, Texas is the most Republican state in the country, and they're trying to turn that perception. And so if this Democrat from out of nowhere who comes up and gets it real close to the biggest name in Republican politics, that's not going to look pretty. So if we win by that margin, I'm going to wake up on Wednesday, November 7th, real upset that we couldn't get it done. And so I just need help. I got 35 counties like Jason does under my belt, and I can't walk them all. We got 1 month to get involved. You don't get too many opportunities like this in your lifetime. And so I would say if you're going to sign my sheet, if you're going to take a sign my sheet. It's for our Get Out to Vote program. What we're doing there is the final 10 days of the campaign. We're going to have shifts starting at 9 a.m. and they're going to end at 9 p.m. of about 3 hours in duration. So but in those 10 days, if you can give me 1, 2, 3, 4 shifts, however many you can give me, I'm going to need it because we got to hit some big numbers out here to get the result we want. And I'll leave you guys with this. Senator Cruz frequently speaks on his father's story. You know, he's an immigrant from Cuba, was with the Castro regime for a while, and then was tortured and all that in prison and such, and fled to America with $50 sewn into his underwear. And the thing Senator Cruz, his father would always say to him is, when I left Cuba, when I left socialism and what eventually became communism, I had somewhere to flee to. You could go to America where you know the capitalist system is going to welcome you with open arms if you're willing to work hard. And he was. And now you see what Senator Cruz has become. You know, he's the real American story. Yes. From the grassroots to the White House, he has influence. And so we can't lose Texas. We can't even let it get close. So if you guys are willing to help out, I have a sign-up sheet. You may be disabled, you may have whatever thing going on in your life, but I will find a job for you. That is my job. And I'm committed. I'm working 75 hours a week. My air mattress deflates now, so I'm basically sleeping on the floor, which stinks. And Jason made a comment about me following my passion. You know, they really don't pay me much, so I guess it is a passion now. And I'm committed to making sure we win, and we win big. So please get in contact with me, because I want to do this just as much as you guys do, because it's too important not to. So thank you guys again, and let's get in touch, let's get talking, and let's get working, because we got 31 days left. If anyone has any questions, feel free to ask.